In this video, we're going to look at how indifference curves and budget lines can be used to derive the shape and position of the demand curve. So before you watch this video, I suggest you go back and make sure that you know exactly what budget lines and indifference curves show. The diagram here shows the budget lines and indifference curves for a consumer who has the choice between consuming good A and good B. The original budget lines are the red ones there, I1 and B1, and the new indifference curves and budget lines are the green ones, I2 and B2. The original price of product B was £1, and then that has risen to £1.50. The price of product A has stayed the same. The result of that change in the price of good B is to pivot the budget line inwards. The consumer can now buy less of product B if that consumer spends all of their income on that product. So we're pivoting the line inwards. That means that the consumer was originally in equilibrium. They were maximizing their welfare at point B1, at quantity B1, and now they're maximizing their welfare at point or quantity B2. If we now drop those quantity lines down onto the demand curve, we can see that price has increased there from 1 to 1.5, or from £1 to £1.50, and as a result, the quantity has fallen from B1 to B2. So we can use indifference curves and budget lines to derive the downward sloping nature of the demand curve, the negative correlation between price and the quantity demanded. Okay, so now that we're happy with the downward sloping nature of the demand curve, we need to think about the position of the demand curve and how that changes when the determinants, the non-price determinants of demand change. Okay, so we're going to focus here on one of those non-price determinants, and that is the consumer's income. So the increase in the consumer's income causes the budget line to shift out from B1 to B2. So the consumer's equilibrium changes from the red tangent there, the tangent between indifference 1 and budget line 1, and the green tangent there, the position where I2 and B2 are in tangent. So the price of good B, we're only plotting the demand curve for good B here, the price of good B has stayed the same at £1. But now, because the consumer's income has increased, the quantity that they are willing and able to demand has increased, and that's shown by the outward shift in the demand curve from D1 to D2. Now, this must be a normal good because the increase in income has led to an increase in the quantity demanded. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a different product. Okay, and here, once again, the consumer's income has increased, so the budget line has shifted outwards from B1 to B2, and the equilibrium position has moved from B1 I1 to B2 I2. So we can see that the consumer's income has increased, but as a result, the consumer now purchases or buys and consumes less of good B. So the increase in the consumer's income has led to a reduction in the quantity demanded, shown by that inward shift of the demand curve on the bottom diagram. So that means that this good must be an inferior good. The increase in income has led to a reduction in the quantity demanded. Okay, so let's step our analysis up another notch. So this time we are going to reduce the price of good B, and that's going to shift us from the green indifference curves and budget lines I1, B1 to the red indifference curves and budget lines I2, B2. The overall effect of that reduction in price is that the quantity demanded of B has gone up. That's what we would expect to happen. The price has gone down, the quantity demanded has gone up, and that net effect is shown by the movement from position 1 to position 3. But how did we get there? Okay, so first of all, there's quite a strong positive substitution effect. So the price of good B has gone down, making good B now relatively cheaper in comparison to good A. So we will give up more of good A in order to buy the now relatively cheaper good B. So the substitution effect shifts us from position 1 to position 2. However, there is a negative income effect. Okay, so the reduction in the price of good B has had the effect of increasing our income. We can now buy more goods and services because the price of one of the goods that we buy has gone down. Okay, but the effect here is a weak negative effect. So we're actually buying less of good B because our income has increased. So good B must be an inferior good. So that negative income effect is shown by the movement from position 2 to position 3. So we've got the strong substitution effect, positive substitution effect is moving us from position 1 to position 2. But that's been diluted somewhat by that weak negative income effect, which has moved us from position 2 to position 3. So the overall net effect of the fall in the price of good B is a movement from position 1 to position 3. So let's use that diagram that we have just constructed to show the overall change in the quantity demanded as a result of a reduction in the price of good B. As you can see here, once again, on the indifference curves and budget line graph, we've moved from position 1 to position 3 as a result of the price falling from £1 to 75 pence. And therefore, we've got, once again, that negative correlation between price and the quantity demanded. So finally, we're going to isolate that weak negative income effect. So we're going to assume that the price has stayed the same and the only thing that's changed is the income. So we're just isolating the income effect from the substitution effect. And remember that weak negative income effect shifted us from position 2 to position 3. So we can now trace that change down onto a demand curve, showing that at the price 1, because we're assuming that the price has not changed now because we're isolating the income effect, okay, we can see that we were demanding 2, but as a result of that weak negative income effect, we're now only demanding 3. So this must be an inferior good. So the net effect of the reduction in the price is to increase overall demand, but the income effect of that decrease in price has been to reduce demand. But the reduction in demand due to the income effect is less than the increase in demand due to the substitution effect. So this is an inferior good, but it's not a Giffen good.